Well, now that we've made a jet that goes faster than the speed of light, I think it's time to get back to our missions. And we can get pretty creative on the planes we create. First up, the waste storage needs 30 water. So we'll see if we have the power to go and grab that. And to be honest, I don't really remember what I was doing with this plane in particular, but it glides so nicely. So it's got 600 cargo space. That's what we were trying to do. Take as much cargo as possible. Do you think we can take 30 water at once? That does weigh 116. It's only half our cargo space, but that's real heavy. We'll see. We do have 4 wings, so that's going to help give us a little extra lift. I am missing a tail wing. Oh yeah, we'll be fine with this. This is super plain. And the best part is, as we make more money, we can add even more parts on these to make them even better. I actually forgot to put my landing gear up that entire time even. But that's just how good this plane is. Alright, didn't mean to land on the hilltop there, but that's just sort of like a extra challenge for the plane. That was 1,000 coins just for that. We flew like 500 feet. And the people at the mines are sick. They need 3 syringes and 2 fish. I know those are time sensitive things, so we're gonna need fast plane. So let's get to work building something very fast and very functional. We'll go ahead and delete that. And I'm pretty sure this is a glider cockpit, but it weighs half the weight of the other one, so we're going to try this one. I don't think we're going to need a ton of cargo space, but we'll just build something and then go see what we need. We'll do this as much as 60. And these high-speed things need delta wings for sure. They have 0 drag and they're very strong, so they can go super, super fast. I know everyone was making fun of me saying I don't know where wings on planes go, and yes, you're exactly right. I have no idea. What I do know is that my planes aren't very fast. So we'll put 2 jet engines on the back. Those cost 5,000 each. That's a large part of my budget. But this looks like a fairly real plane so far. And the problem is, if things don't have a lot of strength and resistance, there's no point in slapping them on because they'll just get torn straight off. So this is actually very light so far. It's only 9.5, although we haven't put any fuel tanks on. But it was also pointed out to me a few times over that you can actually cheese these by you can hide them inside the fuselage if you have a big enough plane. I don't know if I want to do that yet. I think we're good enough to get away without doing that right now. So we'll just add a few fuel tanks right beside the highly combustible engines. I'm also going to put on the big wheels because they weigh the same as the small wheels. They just hold more, so it'd be stupid not to. Yeah, that sort of looks like a fighter jet, probably. So we'll take off. I still don't know if that other jet's firing, but yeah, clearly we have lots of lift. We got decent amount of fuel. We're very quick, so this should be able to get our thing to where we need it. Yeah, this plane immediately goes up to 900, so slowing down is actually going to be the hard part. In fact, we forgot the umbrellas, so we got to go put some of those on. We're going to smash 2 of those on the back if we can. I know those might create a bit of drag. Somehow they actually don't. There's not a lot of drag on this plane. Can we actually move that up a little bit so it's even less drag? In theory, that should work. I mean, the less orange there is, the better. The center of gravity is towards the back. I know the wings have something to do with that, but ask me how much I care. So what did we say people needed? They needed fish here and syringes. So we'll start with the syringes because they're close. I'm pretty sure we get those here. So let's fly our way up there and see if we can collect those. We got to do it nice and careful, but also super quick. This plane is so fast that literally as soon as I take off, I got to prepare for landing because I'll glide a long ways and do it really quickly. I wonder how much of a glidey plane we could make. I'm a little curious about that now. Well, we flew here very quickly and we used like 20% of our fuel in doing it. So 3 syringes. I know this is going to be a quick one. So we got to be quick, but we have a very quick plane. Landing gear up, we're at full throttle. We just got to go to there. I've covered the marks, but I see where they're at. This won't actually be as bad as I thought. We can start slowing down any moment now. We got to adjust the camera so we can actually see where we're going. As long as we land somewhere in the vicinity of this fairly nicely, we'll be okay. So we'll just go ahead and kill a porta potty on the way down. Too hard. Yeah, I knew that was going to be too hard. They need 2 more syringes. I'm not even going to refuel. This plane is so good we don't need fuel. This time I'm just going to load up lots of syringes so we can break half of them upon landing. Because this plane's very quick, so it's a little hard to land smoothly. So syringes, oh, we can only carry 2 at a time. Yeah, the syringe is actually pretty big. Really, this isn't my fault. They're the ones who put the runway in the wrong direction. Slow it down a little more. And we stop. Got him. Now we got to go get fish at the fish port, which is 22 whatever's that way. So we've refueled and off we go. I don't even know if I need to refuel, even to go all that way. I did find 5 scrap randomly on the ground. This plane is real fast. I could definitely get away with a lot less fuel. Okay, I've got to start slowing down and we're going to overshoot that so far. Even now we slowed down, we're still going 400. And I picked up another 5 scrap randomly. I guess they do just randomly spawn somewhere out in the world sometimes. We gonna glide in on this? We might have to actually give it a little more speed. It's kind of hard to balance though because this has so much thrust that as soon as I touch the throttle, like we take off. Quite like a rocket. basically what we're building. Kind of forgot how big fish were. We only need 2 of them, so we can actually hold them. It's a time-sensitive mission, so we got to get all the way to there with 2 fish. Luckily, I'm pretty sure I got the plane for this. Landing gear up, and off we go. A few people have been pointing out that Kerbal's Space Program is also a game that's similar to this, and you'll be happy to know I've started playing it, so we're going to figure that out too. So any fun ideas in there, do let me know. Okay, we're going so fast that we're here with half the timer left. I nearly overshot that. I had to slam on the brakes. Oh yeah, I guess fish aren't that delicate, huh? They probably just turn into paste with whatever they want them for anyway. So down we go. Good enough landing, got it. So there's an extra 9,500 coins plus 60 scrap. We have a lot of money still. Since we have a fast plane, we're looking for anything else that needs fresh stuff that's time sensitive. Yeah, I think the plane can actually do with smaller wheels. They are cheaper. The only reason I want that is so I can add another 2 jet engines to my plane because it's not quick enough. There we go. It's more engine than plane. Fuel consumption is probably going to go up by a pretty good margin. Okay, we're in the air and cruising. We have very little drag. There's more parts. Okay, we've already hit 1,000. And this is a plane on a budget with restrictions and limitations. So we're going to fly off into the sunset. Our fuel's almost already gone though. That's the downside to this. Oh, we've already flown this way before. I want to see if there's something else out here. Okay, you know what? Throttle down. We're going to glide for a little bit and explore some of the map. There's probably an Easter egg out here somewhere. Or the island from Lost. My engines are apparently still firing, even though there's no fuel coming out. We've got all the way up to the corner. There's no land in sight. Yeah, we also don't need a plane this fast because there's no more fresh missions, so we need to build an efficient cargo plane. So if we need to move a lot of cargo, presumably the best way to do that is with the enormous cockpit. Because as soon as you add anything onto this, you just get a massive amount of cargo space. I can also fatten it up a little bit for even more cargo space, that way shaped like a bullet. But it's also obnoxiously heavy. I didn't know this before, but for some reason you can add extra cockpits on. That's just a lot of fun, so we even have one upside down, in case we need extra pilots. Now we just go to elongate things to the point we're at 600. We got $22,000 left over. We're very heavy already, but that's a problem for the wheels, of which we'll have many. We'll go ahead and stick those down there. I mean, all that weight's got to be supported by something. Now we need lots and lots of lift. So these wings give us 48 lift. I feel like we're going to need lots of them, so we'll stick a few more on there. To power this, we're going to throw a few jet engines on there. That's going to be quite expensive, and we still need some fuel tanks. Before forgetting as well, we also need some parachutes on the back. Something's got to try and slow this thing down. We'll put a few fuel tanks on the front. I feel like this one's going to be thirsty. It's gorgeous. Extra cockpits, extra cargo room, extra everything. Feel like the center of gravity is maybe towards the back, but that's okay. It wants to go into the sky. We're going to let it. So we'll take off and see if this thing can actually get into the air actually fairly quickly. That's interesting. Fuel burn is on the higher side, but I mean, we're moving. So now we just got to decide where we want to start. They need 5 chemicals to function. Okay. We will go collect them 5 chemicals. This definitely isn't a fast plane. We might need to add a little bit more for fuel tanks and also for thrust. Coming down a little heavy, so we put a little bit of a thrust on to help balance that. It's a tippy plane. Oh, the chemicals are time sensitive. I need a fast plane to do this. All right, we're going to put this one on the back burner then because I've already created the perfect plane. So we're going to go for delivering heavy stuff. Like the advanced factory needs water and titanium. So we're going to move on to that. We'll go get it some titanium from the mine. This may not be the most efficient or reliable airline, but it gets the job done eventually. And we only burned about half of our fuel moving here. How many titanium do we need? It's very heavy. Only 3 of them, so yeah, we're definitely quite heavy. We might have to use the mountain here as a bit of an assist to take off. Even with 4 wings and 2 jets. Though, I think we're going to be airborne any second now. Good enough for me. barely keeping off the ground. Flying like the majestic eagle. And no, I didn't have to do this in one trip, but I wanted to. We're running out of fuel, so we're going to have to start making our way closer to the ground pretty quickly. I need full thrust just to make this thing let go. I think we're going to be okay though. Yeah, this might actually be a fairly gentle landing on this current trajectory. Even increase the throttle just a little bit to try and get us a little more up and throttle down. That might have been my best landing ever. Now, does anyone need chips? It appears not, but these guys need 30 waters, so we're going to bring them 30 waters. That means we got to go all the way down there. The quickest way to get there is to reset back to base, but we need a little bit more thrust, so we're going to add a little bit more. We're going to put some turboprops on the front of the plane. That way it's also going to mulch anything we might run into. Also, to compensate for what we just added, we're going to add a couple more fuel tanks that are very expensive. Tailwings are pretty cheap though, actually, so these will help add some lift probably. We'll go ahead and slap one back there, and yeah, the more parts you add on the plane, the better. But will it take off better? Yeah, it actually seemed to. Those propellers on the front really make all the difference. Now, where do we need to go? To the water thing. Fuel burn is still pretty obnoxious. I'm really glad I'm not the one paying for that. I guess I never really considered the wheels. We do have 4 of them though, so we should be able to like get a pretty good impact. Yeah, we can land this thing pretty hard, it seems, and not break anything. Okay, so they need 30 waters. That's not actually too bad. Well, weight-wise, it's not great, but that's still only half of our cargo volume. Yeah, the weight made it a little bit hard to get off the ground, but it's certainly better than it was with the titanium on board. Although at full throttle, it is losing altitude, so we need to constantly adjust. We actually have quite a ways to go still, so... Fuel started running pretty low on me, so I decided to try and climb, grab some altitude. That way we can use that altitude to gain some speed as we're coming down if need be. Think we're gonna be okay? Whoops, didn't mean to put the parachute on. Okay, we're losing speed, so we're gonna go down to get some speed. I played Learn to Fly, so I know this actually works. Without any thrust though, learning absolutely nothing from what we just attempted. We're gonna fly again. We're just gonna stop at an airport in the middle. Use it as a gas station. So I guess we did learn something. We learned that we can't fly 8 kilometers. So we'll just stop in here for a medium style landing, get refueled, and just keep on going straight over to this place. I feel much more confident about making it this time. We still got 3/4 of our fuel. We only need to go 3.5. So long as I don't botch this landing, we're gonna have some very happy customers. Whoops, I almost botched it already. Hit the wrong thing. Instead of fuel off, I retracted the landing gear. And I also came to the wrong place. I put my marker on here for some reason. It's supposed to be up here. So we got one more flight to go. I can actually speed up a little bit and then refuel while I'm actually moving, which is a very efficient way of doing it because you probably burn a lot of fuel on the acceleration. Okay, we're coming in for a landing. Should be easy enough. Really nice glide angle it seems. So once we get closer to the ground, we will touch down and then brakes. That was also a good landing. So they need chemicals and they need chemicals. Everyone needs chemicals. Oh, they need lead and titanium actually, so we'll bring them that. Because I don't want to go back to a speed plane to have to go back to a cargo plane. We've already designed the ultimate cargo plane, so we're going to wield it. I'm not entirely sure what happened there. The plane sort of spontaneously exploded upon landing. So this time we'll get a nice gentle one for this plane that's a giant baby. And then we need 2 titanium. Can I also actually take 1 lead? That's most of our cargo space and definitely all of our weight, but I want to see if I can get it there. Gonna need a nice long takeoff for this. We only have to go 4 though, so it's oh, I didn't know I could hit those. That's okay. A little adversity teaches us to fly better. Our speed seems to be limited to about 60. Can we get it off the ground? Sort of. Not sure if we're gaining altitude very slowly. Put the landing gear down. Yeah, that'll make all the difference in the world. Might have to put it back down again because we might do what we're going to call a touch and go on a sand dune here. Not convinced this is going to work. Oh, it did work. Yeah, we're going to bounce our way there. Perfect. Landing gear up again. Take note, airlines. I've created the perfect way to fly. We're much over capacity and running out of fuel, so we're going to prepare for a non-voluntary landing, we'll call it. Okay, we're going to turn the fuel off. That might have actually been my smoothest landing ever, which is kind of funny, considering our plane was completely overloaded. Well, now we know for sure that I can definitely carry 1/4 of the cargo we just did. I forgot to refuel. Can we glide that far? Nope. And I don't have time for that. I'm very busy. We got to restart. I'd make such a good pilot. 50% of the time I forget to refuel, and the other 50% I land at entirely the wrong airport. So 1 more lead is all we need. That should be super easy. 25, 250. It's very big and very heavy, but there's only 1 of them. So this flying perfection is going to handle it no problem. We're going to make a mark on the map because the game doesn't want to mark it for me. Touchdown. The lead is down. There's 312 plus another 60 scraps. We're getting a lot of scrap. Please transport the dangerous radioactive materials here. If you insist. I've got just the plane for it. So we're going to click the refuel as far as we can, then we're going to full throttle it up. We're back at the exploded reactor. So the radioactive waste is 600, but it only weighs 40 actually. This should be pretty easy compared to what we just did. I'm maybe going to stop here before making our way to there. I'm just not sure we can make it all the way there in one go. This is heavier than I thought actually, because I am full up and we're not going up yet. Clearly we need more wings. That's the problem. Could I make it all the way there? Let's not risk it. Well, I'm clearly doing something right if I'm managing to make this plane make it to where we're going. This is just a refuel stop, I should note, but so far so good. So it looks like there's a max speed we can refuel at, which is 25. I don't know if any pilots can confirm, but can you refuel while you're moving? And this has a nice little assist to help us take off. All runways should have that. I'm going to patent that idea, by the way. Don't steal it. I'm going to make millions off of airport jumps. That will cause planes to have like 25% less fuel consumption. Okay, coming in very, very heavy landing, but that was easy thanks to our super wheels. And we'll just coast on in here and done. The radioactive materials are now securely stored in the bunker. Okay, you've contained the dangers and the islands are safe again. Not as long as I'm flying, they're not. Okay, well, we got a lot of parts and a fair bit of money. Okay, we got a lot of things. So let's go back to base. I didn't realize there's also still bigger wings. That has 90 lift. That's insane. There's also a big tail wing. I made it all work without using most of these things. Light wheel. We'll go ahead and unlock that. What are all these? Batteries. Oh, these are for electric things. Solar panels, air turbines, glider wings. I assume these are things to get like lighter planes so you can go extra light. I think I've actually unlocked everything at this point, but we still have some speed missions to do, so we got to go back to something quick. So we're going back to our like jet design. We got 4 rocket engines, 4 fuel tanks. These ones are not supposed to be way down there. And then a single regular jet engine. This one's 3,500 actually. We're just going to go ahead and slap one of those up top just for a little extra go. A little rear heavy, but you know what? It gets into the sky in a hurry. It feels so quick in comparison to the last one. Oh, I forgot to put the parachutes on. Hold on. We probably got more fuel than we need anyways. And that's going to afford our parachute budget. Okay, so they need 5 chemicals there. So let's go pick up the 5 chemicals. Shouldn't take us long and bring them to where they need to go. Okay, that was well over 1,000. Are we going to be able to get this stopped in time? Wow, it really stops in a hurry when you want it to. We're going to try and get ourselves pointed in the right direction because once we're going to be there in like an instant. We're going to have to do this basically one at a time, because they take up 40 cargo space. I don't have that much on board, but that's fine. This is still going to take us like 3 seconds. Okay, we broke 1,000 already. We're pulling down the landing gear. We're starting to slow down, and we're missing our goal entirely. Don't really have a lot of time for this, or do we? Okay, slow it down, bring it down. We're in the vicinity. That should count for something, yeah? Land. Did that count? Uh-oh, we're going too far backwards. Stop. The chemicals expired. I regret nothing. We can do this. We just got to slow down earlier. Basically, as soon as I'm up in the air, I just need to let the throttle off. We'll glide the rest of the way. Like even gliding for like 90% of the way, we're still arriving with lots of time to spare. I'm not even going to take the landing gear off jumping back and forth. I just don't need to. It'll help me slow down if anything. I'm pretty sure this plane can actually take off without wheels. Yeah, we don't actually need wheels. It'll just take off and go. I suppose wheels are probably pretty important for landing though. We've got 2 of them. I think I could probably actually do this. It's pretty light and balanced. Yep, good enough. So that could make some differences moving forward on our plane builds if we don't actually need wheels that much. Okay, I've lost even more wheels now. I think I've only got the one up front. That's perfectly fine. I could land on that. Just gotta come in nice and smoothly. Front wheel. I actually did that. It's a little hard to steer without the wheels, so we gotta get a little bit airborne first, but this is the last thing of chemicals and I'm doing this on 1 wheel. But it takes no time to fly around like this. We hardly need any fuel if you get there nice and quick. This is a very wrong course. Might have had some winds or something affecting me. Might have had a small crash landing, but I was also not really paying much attention on that one, so we're going to start slowing down already. Then we'll come in at a much more controlled descent. It is a pretty glidey plane if it doesn't have a bunch of weight on it. Got big wings on it, so we can just sort of land however. And there's some scraps that I don't think we need because I think we've unlocked everything. But the money we'll take. So the advanced factory up there still needs 7 chemicals. In order to facilitate that, I'm actually going to elongate my plane. It is plenty fast, but if I can haul a little more cargo, all the better. I can't remember what the chemicals weighed, so let's just go a little bigger. One, I don't know, that might fly. It is a missile. Yeah, it does fly. Great. I don't know how I'm going to land this now that I think about it. Okay, we're coming in for landing. I think we lost a wheel. I think we lost our front wheel, but we made it. So how many of these can we get on board? Okay, apparently we can get 4 of them. That's halfway there. That's good enough for me. We got lots of thrust to take off. So, okay, we're landing gear. You know, we're going to leave the landing gear there. We're going to start slowing down already too. I think this will be okay. We still got plenty of time. We got a very missile plane, little bit. Oh, we actually landed that very nicely, which is weird considering this is huge. Okay, so I think we need another 3 of those. As long as we make a safe landing, the quest will be done. We'll get more money. It's still quite glidey, like considering how big this is. Like that was an absolute vertical landing and the plane was mostly fine. And there's a whole bunch of rewards that we probably don't need. And I think that's actually every quest done on islands that we have unlocked. Obviously, the map is still pretty big. I really want to see if there's any Easter eggs out there. Okay, since we presumably have as much money as we can get within the game, I just can't help but need to see how fast we can make a plane. So if we go ahead and put some wings up there, perfect. And then rocket engines have the most thrust, and I think are going to be there for the most speed. I don't think I'm actually going to have wheels on this. I kind of want to try it just like this to begin. The game has officially warned me that we have no wheels. We don't need wheels. Wow, this fast. We're already out of fuel, but we already hit 1500. So that's a good sign. We don't need wheels. We basically don't need anything. We can coast way out here into the Great Abyss. But we still have money. We still have lots of money. We're going to burn through our fuel even quicker, but that's okay. As long as we have enough to essentially get us off the ground, we're going to be fine. We can afford 1 fuel tank currently, which is going to obviously, whoops, Put that back. I want to move the fuel tank only, please. So the fuel tank I am going to cheese a little bit and try and hide up in there. That way there's no drag from it. Not really. That pilot might be in for a bit of a problem. But yep, that's about fine. All right, this should accelerate quickly. We're up in the sky. Ooh, let's take it up there. It's 1200, 1400, 1500, 1800. Hit about 2000 before running out of fuel. So it's definitely quicker than it was before, but it still runs out of fuel before we're really able to get going anyway. So change of plans. We're going to remove some of these. We're going to put one actually straight on the back. And then we still have 5000 left over for more fuel tanks. If we can thrust for longer, we can gain more speed. So I'm going to do the same thing essentially. We are going to hide some fuel tanks somewhere sort of inside the plane as best we can. And then it's aerodynamically perfect-ish. Not sure why that one's down here now. Yeah, whatever. Oh, they're sort of pushing each other out of the way. That's what's happening. But drag-wise, that's still perfectly fine. So now when we take off, we should hopefully have, yeah, we got a lot more fuel. The speed goes a lot slower now actually though. That's strange. The speed slowed down a lot. The acceleration, I should say, even though we only have 1 less engine. Now we're going over 2000 though. 2300. I wonder if we had something super light with a lot of lift and just a little bit of thrust. It would just keep like gaining speed forever with a little drag. So we hit about 2800 there, which is very, very fast. We're definitely getting up there on the map. I realize now the map like goes a long ways. There may not be an Easter egg out here. I know that we are a long ways from civilization at this point, but that was obviously pretty quick. I think the problem might have been the extra weight. These fuel tanks are weighing us down too much. But it turns out we can get away without using any fuselage at all. So we could literally just have the engine on the back of the cockpit. Then maybe if we move the engines a little bit inside the cockpit, that's going to reduce the drag even more. Yeah, that's pretty good. We've actually cramped a lot of engines down in there. So we can only afford 1, but that's okay. We only need to place 1. We're going to run out of fuel almost immediately, but that's not going to be a big deal. I don't know how many engines there are back there, but there are quite a lot. This thing only weighs 12 pounds and has a lot of thrust. So it should accelerate very quickly. All right, well, we hit 750 almost instantly, which still isn't fast enough. We know there's got to be like an optimal weight to thrust ratio with some fuel involved, but we can currently afford 1 fuel tank. So we're going to try and hide that in the mess as well. It's fairly aerodynamic and like, that's fine. So now we'll hopefully at least have just a little bit of fuel to get us up to speed. Yep, so far so good. Okay, we broke over 2500. The wings will pull off at 5,000, I guess, anyway, so we know that limit. But I do want to see what's out there, so we need to make a super light plane. So we're maybe going to use what I assume is a glider cockpit. It's very, very light. And then we got to look for the lightest wings. These are only 0.33. But the glider wings are only 1.5. They weigh more, but they have way more lift. We may not need a lot of lift. I'm not really sure which one's going to be the better option. Well, to start, I'm going to try the delta wing. We're going to lower that down a little bit. Now we just need to find a very efficient thrust or something. Ooh, we could do solar panels all over this. We can make electric and it could solar power itself. Does that make sense? Do these add drag? Do these add weight? They add a little bit of drag. That's okay. So the weight of this so far is quite light. We're less than 1 pound for everything you see. I'm not sure what kind of engines we could put on this. Presumably something electric. I think the big electric engine's going to be better. They're basically evenly matched, their weight to thrust ratio. I'm not really sure where to put that, so we're going to put it there. I'm hoping the solar panels will actually power this. It weighs 3 pounds, which is a little bit of something, but I'm thinking, oh, okay, that's interesting. This works, and electricity, I think we're actually charging faster than we're using, so we might have actually already created an infinity plane. Yeah, in theory, I think we have. It's got no cargo space, but I think it's going to continue picking up speed for a little while because its weight to thrust ratio is enormous. So, yeah, we've used, as far as I can tell, no electricity. I think we're gaining electricity faster than we're using it. So we'll just wander out into the Great Blue for a while. It seems we topped out speed around 1600. We're still gaining speed slowly, but it's quite slow. Well, I'm going to assume there's nothing really out here if we haven't seen anything yet. So let's give it an altitude test. How high can we go? Well, we broke 10,000. We're actually at 15,000. Looks like nothing's going to happen other than we're floating in space. But this is an interesting design. We can improve on this. So if we put some more wings, say, there, we get a little bit heavy, but not much. We get a lot more lift. No, let's try a few of these electric engines. I don't know if it's really going to matter where they go. If they're that way, they're more aerodynamic probably. So let's put 2 of those on there, and then we just need a few solar panels to make up for that. Which can go pretty much everywhere and have very little drag apparently. Yep, perfect. It does weigh about 12 pounds, so it is heavier. It's having trouble getting off the ground, but it is. We made it flying X. It is considerably slower, and we are actually using electricity. So our weight to thrust has gone in the wrong direction. But we use like 1% of our fuel so far, which is interesting. So I think the next best thing to add lift is the canards. They only weigh 0.33, but they give 10 lift. They do have some drag, so that does work against us again. So the Delta Wings are probably honestly the only thing that could like make this better because they're so ridiculous in their stats. So something like that will probably fly. It weighs 5.5 though, so I don't know if it'll be as fast. In fact, we know it won't be because the power to weight ratio, but it's going to be very floaty. And again, I think it's already an infinity plane. They will fly forever. And it will require very little thrust to keep it in the air because it has like 1 trillion lift. So we're going to take a flyby over the original island and then fly right on past it to finally see what's out there. If there's going to be something, it would be straight in line with the original runway, which is right here. So we'll sort of just fly this way for a while. And the best part is, I think it's going to continue to gain altitude all by itself because of all that lift. At this point, I've flown well off the edge of the map, still not running into anything. But it is an infinity plane, so it will literally just keep going. It turns out if you keep stacking the wings up, eventually they reverse themselves temporarily and then go back to going the right way. I don't know why they've done that, but we're still getting more lift. I would like to remind you, this is not sandbox mode. This is the career mode that has the limitations of money. I'm just obviously really good at designing planes. So, oh, that's perfect actually. We don't need wheels if you're pointed straight in the sky. And even with the weight, we have so much lift that we're just hovering. We've made like a hovercraft at this point. It's we are flying at 64 and we can go like straight up if we want to because of all the lift. We're losing speed, but like I'm pretty sure we'll actually just keep going up endlessly because there's so much lift. But I mean, we still got $20,000, so we might as well give it a little more. Aerodynamics be damned, we're getting our lift. Plus the game hasn't given up on me yet, so I haven't given up on the game. I wonder if we can actually get a plane to the point where there's so much lift that it could basically hover. Like it won't be moving forward, it would literally just be coming off the ground like it's levitating. Okay, so I bought as many wings and struts as I could. Turns out they were remarkably cheap and quite light. This whole thing only weighs 50 pounds. As for the center of gravity, it is a mile above the cockpit floating in space. But you know it's going to fly like a dream. We'll just let it get oriented, laying on its back. The game is lagging quite a bit already. And full throttle. We are not taking off yet. We might need another engine. Probably going to need one more. We also can't afford another one without removing at least 1 pair of wings, I think. Still, maybe 2. It's getting hard to see because the game doesn't love this, but I got 2 engines now, double the thrust. Oh, it's able to upright itself. Oh, it's moving. Are we taking off? I don't know if we're flying or just scraping on the ground. We're tipping forward. We might need just a touch more thrust. So, well, we got $1,800. That should buy us another fan, which after what I just saw, I think will actually make this fly. So our speed is 8, 9. Oh, it's getting close. 10, 11, 12. Come on, you can do it. Come on. Off the ground. I feel like it's so very, very close. Oh, we're also out of electricity. We're going to need more solar panels. Oh, it does actually fly. We're running out of electricity, but I got it off the ground at a speed of 9. Yeah, at 12, 13, we're actually going somewhere. And for some reason, we're out of electricity, but we're allowed to fly. But this sort of ignores the laws of physics altogether. Probably be pretty hard to build a slower plane that can take off the ground. To the point where we hit a tree and nothing happened. We're now hugging the tree with our strange infinity plane. I did also forget we have balloons. So can we actually just attach balloons to this to make it floatier? Oh, okay, well, there's a little bit of extra lift. It's not much. It's only 2.5. Each one of these wings gives us 20. So the balloons, the weight to movement, though, actually could be something. Like, I think fundamentally the plane really didn't change that much. Once you give it a good angle, though, that's when it takes off. See, there we go. The balloons still have a worse ratio than the Delta wings somehow. But if we try the smaller electric engine, it weighs less, but it's got the same weight to thrust ratio. It might also be less draggy. I've also done my best to hide the solar panels within the wings this time. I've somehow built the plane completely backwards, but it doesn't seem to matter. This is another infinity plane. It's very fast. It's just one little engine. Just because of its insane power to weight ratio. Like, here's the snow island again, and we pretty much blow it all the way across it. And now we officially have, whoops, going about 1400. Let's try adding some balloons to this. The balloons do have a lot of drag, but we'll get some lift. It just floats. I'm not using my engine at all. We're just floating. If we do use the engine, I think the drag of these is going to be too much. It's a fun idea, but nothing happens. Other than we're stuck because as soon as I go back to base to edit my plane, it takes off right away. It doesn't give me the option to do anything. Okay, well, I've officially created a plane so bad that it ruins the game. Like, I can't click that fast enough. Like, literally, I've ruined the game. I can't. I just do this on repeat. I can't do anything else. So mission accomplished, I guess.
We'll build some more fun stuff really soon.